Hey everyone, welcome to Spotlight 814, Erie's local theater podcast. Today I am joined on Zoom by one of the newest members of our Spotlight 814 team, James Wallace. Good morning, James.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. And Professor Plum himself, Clue on Tour, coming to the Warner Theater in Erie on May 27th and 28th. Please welcome Kyle Yampiro. Hello,
Hi,
Kyle.
everybody.
How's it going today?
It's fantastic. Beautiful day here in Midland, Texas.
Midland.
We've got a little Texas stint before we kind of bop around all over and find ourselves in Erie in late May. Absolutely loving the tour so far. It's amazing that, it's been about 6 months we've been out on the road. We've done about 180 some odd performances and
Wow.
just rolling. It's still so fun and fresh. And the couple of times that I do come off stage, usually I'm laughing about something.
That's awesome. That's so good. And I see Doctor Kyle Yampiro on here. Tell us a little bit
You
about the
do.
Doctor.
You do. So, funny enough, to be touring a play, I actually went to school for music,
Okay.
and I suppose I'm some combination of overachiever and masochist, because I stayed on for about a decade. I got my bachelor's from the University of Delaware, and then I got my master's and Doctor of Musical Arts degree from James Madison University in Virginia.
That's amazing.
So I had a brief stint to teach college for about a year at the University of Memphis,
Mhm.
and teaching's going to be some part of me no matter where I go. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
predominantly a voice teacher, music teacher, but it just if nothing else, it has opened my eyes to so many different uh, types of communicating, and it's been a very special journey.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background. We heard about the doctorate and everything. How'd you get involved in the theater?
So I have kind of like an age-old story, but obviously with a few special twists and turns. So I grew up on Long Island, New York, and I found myself, bullied like so many kids in school, maybe around like in middle school, and then I got to high school, and I had the biggest crush on this girl, our class president, unbelievable human being. And because largely of this and some other folks that I really looked up to, I decided to audition for the musical, and that was my first time singing. And so I found myself, because I was a male presenting person in the school that wanted to sing. Not only did I get into that musical, but I was asked to do every single choir that ever existed, and I loved it. And I found my community there. And funny enough, this and went into an equally important line of work in social work. Um, but I found myself a music student at Delaware, but didn't, I hadn't had a voice lesson even to that point. And so I wasn't really sure how to apply myself to be a major, to like really put myself in a position to have it be my career. But I kept trying at it. And anytime that I, didn't get accepted to this studio, didn't get accepted to this major, I just said, oh, that's a bummer. I guess I'll try next time. I look at 18-year-old me with not being able to accept no. I just knew that's what I wanted to do, and yeah, okay, so it might not be as perfect and beautiful as I'd planned, but okay, well, I'll try again next time. And
Awesome.
that ended up paying off. That and finding the right people to really be in my ear and to listen to and to really work hard for. I found myself in the vocal performance major track that I wanted, and then never looked back.
That's amazing. That's a great story. For those who are clueless, tell us a little bit about Clue on stage.
Sure. So Clue is a 90, about like maybe a 75-minute play with
Mhm.
no intermission. It is a romp. It is a comedy incarnate. It is wordplay. It's a live stage adaptation of the 1985 movie, starring Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, among others. And it is a blast. It's been updated very well for current times, and you're just shot out of a cannon when the show starts. And for that, it is such a blast. Um, yeah, it is a play without singing, but almost all of us, really all of us, if you ask me, but almost all of us are musical theater people,
Yeah.
and we read the lines that way, and it is zany and a screwball comedy, and just uh, a fun time start to finish, whether you know the movie, know the board game, or neither.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot wait to see it. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it either. That's been one of my favorite films since I was a kid, and getting to see it on stage, that's really exciting to me.
So, Kyle, tell us a little bit about the audition process for this show.
Sure. So post pandemic, most of the theater community, I'm not saying all, but most of the theater community is somewhat worked towards a model of the first round of auditions, at least through agents and through like there's a round of submissions that occurs by video
Mhm.
in a lot of cases. We have snapped back, obviously, to the point where ideally we'll do as much in person as possible, but to continue accessibility and to continue to utilize the time and distance, typically things are recorded first on tape.
Mhm.
That was fortunate for me because I got reach outs for my agent for a couple of roles in Clue while I was finishing up my last contract on a cruise ship playing Wilbur in Hairspray with Royal Caribbean. So my
Nice.
first moments auditioning for the show were with magnet hooks and a sheet up in my cruise ship cabin, and um, as good a lighting situation as I could have. And
Yeah.
they were interested enough to invite me to an in-person audition in New York, and I had a couple of rounds there, and then you wait. I mean,
Yeah.
my general philosophy is not to wait and think about it.
Mhm.
I remember back when I was looking for college acceptance letters and checking the mail every day, checking my email every day, thinking about it. It's not a great way to live. Um,
Yeah.
it, I, I will say it was a little trickier with this one because I was really excited about the project.
Yeah.
But we waited, and a few months later, the cast list was finalized, and found out that I'd be doing this.
When did it really hit you that you were about to be making your national tour debut?
Honestly, it's still more and more each day. Um, I was pretty blown away by stepping off of the cruise ship and into a couple of final callbacks for tours, and I just it was very very exciting. The neat thing is once all the social media dropped with the official information about the cast list and my name, Professor Plum, underneath it, it became that much more real, and then our media photos dropped, and it was like, wow, I'm doing that.
That's
That's
cool. Yeah.
it's still so cool to this point.
Yeah. That's always exciting. What's been the most fun part of stepping into that famous plum suit every night?
It's first of all, it's comfortable.
Nice.
I don't mind that, but it's there's just something about like a tweed jacket and a nice vest that can just really transform you.
Yeah.
It's You've been in school for so long, the being kind of an academic, like in the classic sense, definitely plays pretty natural for me.
Yeah.
um but the bottom line is, like, that there was I was very very fortunate because while there have been different iterations of this production that have existed previously, they made me a new blazer
Nice.
The costume department was so kind to me, and so it feels very much like mine. I'm the only one who's worn it, so
Yeah, that's really
um,
nice.
it is very sort of like tailored to us, and for that, it is particularly special.
What is one thing that in your luggage that you cannot live without now that you're on tour?
I have such a system now.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I have things that I need. I have things that I don't need. To anyone who's ever wanted to do a tour or thought to do a tour, my advice would definitely be bring the things that make you feel like home,
Yeah.
and that may be something silly. I wear many hats on tour, and I actually only mean that literally because my job is just Professor Plum. But I have many fitted baseball caps that I bring with me
Yeah.
on tour, and that allows me to feel fresh instead of wearing the same couple every few days. I can switch it up in a way that I would if I were at home, based on maybe there's a game on, maybe
Yep. Yep.
based on my outfit. In this particular case, on this date of taping, the Knicks are playing in the first round of the playoffs, and it brings me closer to home. I'm in Texas, but I'm
Yeah.
rooting on my team. The other, I'm also a video game person, and I have my Switch 2 that I take around with me, which is has been huge for long travel days.
So you sung with the New York Harmonic, New York Pops, Andrea Bocelli, and Josh Groban, along with doing cruise ship production of Hairspray. What had these performances taught you that really stick with you in your performance now?
I think that every situation's a little bit different, and I think that that's important. I think that if you go in expecting every music and theater job to be the exact same, you are going to be riddled with disappointment,
Yes.
because the accommodations, the compensation, the just the people that you meet and that you work with, the ask. Is that something you can do on the side of what would be quote unquote regular life, or are you whisking yourself away to different countries across the country? Every situation's a little bit different, and being open to that while taking life lessons with you is has just been the most important. And so, while the neat thing is that while most of my background has been in music, and I would consider myself a professional singer around town when when I'm home, I'm touring the country as an actor, which is also I'm so proud of, that I am able to use my voice completely differently from how I did through school and for some of those jobs. And so it's just recognizing what the ask is. That every situation will find a way to surprise you in mostly lovely ways.
Love it. Love it. Comedy, as you know, can be incredibly technical. What's harder for you, landing a big vocal moment or landing a laugh at the exact time you need to?
They're so different, right? I
Yes.
do feel like vocal, like being vocally automatic has been an important part of studying opera, and so being able to produce consistency, as it was really bred into us. Comedy is more not only challenging because of that sort of like surgical precision that you need, but because we're not alone. None of us are alone. In order to create these comedic moments, we have to play together, and we have to really listen. And the audience then becomes a part of it, and the house becomes a part of it. And so there are different variables and factors in that in that equation, that are all equally important for producing effective and consistent comedy. So, to answer your question, comedy for sure, but that's only because it's not just about me and my production, it's
Mm,
about responding in truth to the people around me.
I love that answer. Yeah, no, absolutely. For audiences seeing Clue on tour, what should they be prepared for walking in besides trust absolutely no one?
I think that you can be prepared for an opportunity to leave your troubles at the door and just be whisked into this really really light play about murder. It's a blast in that it really does just kind of focus on its own ethos and its own lightness,
Yes,
in a way that can perhaps be nostalgic, but either way is just meant to be a nice breather from the noise outside.
that's awesome. I cannot wait to see it. I'm so excited about it. I have one more question for you, and then we'll let you go. Erie and the counties around it, we have great college programs. We have a lot of community theater. No professional theater within like 2 hours, like any direction. Um, what advice would you give to our listeners who might be interested in making this a career?
Oh man, if I had a whole day,
Yeah,
there's so much to it. If you really love, I would say if you really love something, then do it to the best of your ability. I think any one of us could on the Clue Tour could tell you, you sometimes have to get creative about some of the ways in which you choose to live your life in order to make it work. I mean, consider just a touring act. Like we don't, we may have a permanent address, but we don't live there.
yeah.
We'll go back for a layoff every once in a while. Just be if you are interested in truly making this a like professional endeavor, just be prepared to live a non cookie cutter creative designer lifestyle, in a way that can be truly unexpectedly incredible, but could be challenging in all of the sort of mainstream ways. And you know, as much as there, you know, you can create your own opportunities. You know, whether that be creating a theater company or building your own cabarets, as far as the distance to different professional things go, and but otherwise, just um, do everything that you can in order to chase down the thing that you love.
Once again, come see Kyle and the rest of this insanely talented cast of Clue on stage at the Warner Theater May 27th and 28th. We'll be there opening night. Where can our listeners find you on social media?
I'm me on social media. Just
Yes,
my name at Kyle Yampiro. I'm predominantly on Instagram.
awesome. Great. Thanks so much for joining us today, Kyle. And I hope you have a great rest of the day in Texas. And we'll see you on the 27th.
Thanks so much, guys.